Hey guys, it's your favorite combination of his thoughts, experiences, and memories. What's up? How's it going? Um and yeah, today I wanted to talk about the stories we tell ourselves. Now, what do I mean by that? And before I start, I do just want to shout out my friend and YouTuber Nietsky, and also my other friend Armando for really inspiring this video. Because these are a lot of based on a lot of conversations that we had together, just talking about the self, memory, history, and the importance of narrative within human life. And yeah, anyway, I want to talk about, first of all, like, do you guys think that all every person is 100% honest with themselves about the role that they've played um in the various things that they've experienced? I don't think we are, and I think it's impossible to be that way, in all honesty. And here's why. Like, if you really sit down to think about it, most of us have a story of our lives that we tell ourselves internally. Like, oh, when we like think back, like, oh yeah, my childhood was like this and that, and like, um this event was so important to me, it marked so and so, and like, I wouldn't be the person I am today without it. It led to this and this. But of course, the problem with that is that when you were living that time in your life, that you now um look back on and think that it was inevitably leading to what you are now or where you are now. Back then, you didn't think that, obviously. You were like in media res, right in the middle of things. It's only in retrospect, like looking back on things, that you say that. And guess what, guys? That's not only the story we tell ourselves. That's history. You make a history of yourself in your mind if you really think about it. Now, okay, so what? Um well, the thing with that is that it gets complicated when you start talking about memory and things like that, because it's pretty well known that humans don't have a very good memory. Even the ones that have really good memory, they are still prone to like combining two events together, or misremembering something, or even unintentionally making up false memories that never actually happened. And to be honest, like, people may think of that as dishonest, and sometimes it is, right? Because if we, excuse me, can't be honest with ourselves about certain things, we can't grow. So, like, for example, say, you know, you hold a grudge against one or both parents because of something you perceive them to do that you didn't like when you were little, but then when you're an adult, you realize like, oh, they were totally right. Like, I don't know, something simple like, oh, you have to eat your vegetables, little Timmy, right? Like, of course, in that moment, you're like, no, I don't want to eat my vegetables, whatever, right? But, like, when you grow older, you realize, like, oh, yeah, vegetables are necessary to be healthy. And please, the carnivore guys, don't even, bro. I'm, I'm not an alpha male, I'm sorry. Or a sigma or whatever. But, but yeah, or like, you probably didn't like when your parents told you had to go to bed at a certain time or something like that, right? But as an adult, you realize like, oh, they were just trying to make sure I got enough sleep and stuff like that. Obviously, that's simple, right? But it can snowball um into you deluding yourself, like thinking that things really are the way you perceive them to be, even though they're not, to the point where you hold on to a grudge for I don't know however long, right? Or you you hold on to a destructive pattern that keeps you from achieving your full potential. But at the same time, like, who of us, to one extent or another, doesn't do that? Like, what's the alternative? Because imagine if you could remember every single little thing ever, right? That ever happened to you in your life. How could you move forward, right? Like, because you'd just be dwelling on things all day. That's why, and maybe it's just a semantical thing, but that I like to think that's why we describe memory a lot of the time as like fuzzy or not clear. And it's like, that's kind of the point. Like, for the most part, we as humans only need to remember as much as might serve our personal history, our personal narrative. And having that personal narrative, I think, is extremely important to, you know, as much as I think the self is an illusion, like, that's the utility of the self. It provides some continuity, um or some way for you to still recognize who you are on the inside, because of course the outside will always be changing, but we need a mechanism to um to be able to recognize ourselves on the inside, and these stories we tell ourselves about ourselves are an extremely important part of that. And it's really like an editing room, right? You have to chop stuff off, because if not, it disrupts the flow of the movie. I mean, I'm not saying that you should have main character syndrome or something, but it's just, I think it's a useful metaphor. Um, right? So, in that sense, yeah, the stories we tell ourselves are pretty important, at least in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, see you. Bye.